understood why Gary Vee says
What?
don't invest in VR.
Yeah, he doesn't think it's going to be a long game thing. He thinks voice is going to be like it.
Like, I get that voice is amazing.
Yeah.
But like, we're advancing so high in voice right now that
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Like, we are literally almost having Google AI, you know? Like,
well, and a couple years ago, Google announced their like actual VA, their virtual assistant. Like that's what people have called them forever. Siri, when it first came out, was a VA. But I don't even remember what my man called it, but like the phone call thing, right? Was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Yeah. Where like my Google Assistant on my Pixel, I've got two sitting right there. But I'm back on iPhone now, but like you could call my Google Pixel, and my voice assistant would pick up before it even rang my phone. Yeah. And would like ask them if it's like an appointment thing, and then she would let me know. And I think that's the coolest thing ever. Or I could have my VA make phone calls and make appointments for me and stuff, and I think that's amazing.
Absolutely. But the thing with voice assistant or VA, like, we've almost gotten to the point, and don't get me wrong, like, it will continuously advance.
Oh yeah, always. But it's like gaming or anything else.
Yeah, we've almost gotten to the point, in my opinion, with VA, where you can't really advance further until our technology advances more.
Right.
And in
like the actual like hardware and stuff.
Yeah. And in turn, I feel like the advancement would be in VR.
Yeah.
You know? Like that's your next big advancement.
You good there, Kai? Oh, he's getting
good,
better. Buddy? Well, I guess it's intro time, like for real. I think he's doing all right. Guys, welcome to the first episode officially of the Vaughn Show podcast that we are officially launching now. We're looking at tech, business, gaming, and finance, and all things in between. I'm here today with my good friend Codey Pate, founder actually of a company called Techin Tech that is just around the corner. Yeah. Yeah, we're excited about it. We've looked at some different stuff when it comes to kind of what he has in mind, and I'm excited to talk to him a little bit about it today. I guess we'll just start out, man, kind of like we've known each other for, like 4 years now? 3 or 4 years now?
Like
it's wild
to
me.
God, time flies, man.
I mean, you got a kid now. Kai's sitting like right there.
Yeah.
He is relaxing. That's awesome, man. Yeah. But yeah, we've known each other for like 4 years now. Started at Best Buy. Yeah, talk a little bit about that, about like your experience at Best Buy. Were you ever on like my team there? I don't remember if you ever actually worked like for me.
I think I did there close to, I guess, your end of an era, I guess you could say.
Well, that's for sure.
I mean, you pretty much were like the foundation.
Sure.
Because I was at customer service for about 6 or 7 months.
Yeah. That's funny because, I started there too.
Yeah. And actually, I think most of the home theater team actually started there. And what another crazy thing about that is that before, I actually applied to Best Buy about 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, like before that? Like right before that?
Like before I actually got hired on, I applied about 5 or 6 times. I actually got an interview, and then
with Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was an occasion seasonal position.
Gotcha. The interview was for one?
Yeah. Yeah. And they didn't let me, right? Like I
That's
didn't
wild,
get hired
man.
then I applied later, and they finally hired me as customer service.
Yeah, part-time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It started part-time, and then I just worked my way up.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And we started. Was I lead by the time that you actually started there?
Yes, I think you were.
I gotcha. So yeah, and I know that yours did too, but like my love of tech happened well before I started working at Best Buy. Oh, yeah. But like that really magnified it because like you're in it every day, and Best Buy has some wonderful training. You guys, and I'm sure I'm going to put some of this in the intro. Codey and I were talking about like his military background. He's in the Army National Guard now, and just kind of talking about some efficiencies and stuff like that, and coming in from that really into Best Buy and kind of changing the way you even think about doing stuff. Has he ever done that before?
No.
Dude just rolled over.
That's
on his
insane.
own. Good job, my dude.
What?
That's awesome. Mallory's never gonna believe you about that.
Oh
No. Yeah.
She's not.
Yeah. So yeah, when you came on as customer service, which is so funny to me, and I started as customer service too, but my passion even now is in home theater stuff. Like it's in TVs and audio and video and that kind of thing. And obviously, like I'm a big fan of gaming too. And I'm a Mac fanboy and always have been and always will be until they do something stupid.
I mean, I feel like everybody's a little bit of a Mac fanboy. Yeah.
I mean, you almost have to be
Yeah.
anymore. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so that's kind of where my love of tech, like the launch pad, like for what it is now, kind of started. And I had the pleasure of having a phenomenal team when I was there. Oh no, what are you upset about? Oh, he wants back over, I bet.
Yeah, I think so. There we go, buddy.
Dude, you need to keep like a video recorder on him so that way you can like show Mallory.
Hey.
You're on your arm there, dude. There you go.
There we go.
See what happens. Yeah, but like me, you, there toward the end, Weston, Austin, and I know I trained you. Like I know that, like sales wise, I know that happened, and so that's and now we both work in furniture, which I think is funny. Yeah. like we worked together 4 years ago at Best Buy when you got hired on. I left probably 2 years ago now, I guess. A year and a half, 2 years ago.
About that, because that's how long I've worked there in total, pretty much. So,
and so like I left because the company squeezed me out, basically squeezed out a couple of us, and ended up selling life insurance for a while, and that was terrible. That was awful. I did that for like 8-9 months to almost a year, and then I sold advertising, and now I'm at in marketing and sales at our mutual place of work again. Actually, you were kind of had your feelers out and put in a good word, and now you're back on our team, man. That's awesome. That's great. So tell me a little bit about like where you found your love for tech.
Man, I'd say it started a very long time ago. I feel like I was almost born into technology.
Sure.
I would say probably, where most people is gaming.
Sure. Yeah. Well, especially people. By the way, like I'm 22, and 22, Codey's 22, and so like just so you kind of have an idea. Yeah. We started gaming real young.
Oh yeah. But I remember. I want to say my first console was actually like a Nintendo 64.
Mine too. I've got it downstairs, like right here. We're upstairs in my apartment, and like I've got an N64 downstairs.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I would say that I'm pretty sure that it was an N64, and then my grandma had an Atari.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like a true Atari or like an older one, but it had every single game on it. Right?
Yeah. Like was it built into the system?
Yeah. We plugged it up to the huge TV.
Fired up Frogger and called it a day. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
But I would say it started there, and then it just kind of built.
Yeah.
And I would say that I was genuinely blessed by my family because if I wanted something like gaming wise, they hopped on it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think after the N64, it was a PlayStation 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had an old PlayStation 1.
Yeah, Spyro, man.
Oh, yeah. Like that's what I played religiously.
Yeah.
But the big console that I had was a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And before that, or right around the time, like, probably the best Christmas present I ever got was a Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
Absolutely.
So,
old school, though.
Game Boy Advance was where it was at, Pokemon, everything.
Yeah.
So, like, I'd say my love for technology started at gaming, and then it just progressed.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's a common thread because like my dad, for example, he turned 52 back in January, and even to today, like he's in it, right? Like he has. I got him a Nest system for Father's Day.
Oh my gosh.
A good while back, like few years ago now, and he like freaked out. Like he's got a Google Assistant and the whole nine. He's 52 years old, yeah. And so it's funny because he likes to tell the story all the time. When he was a kid and like in school and stuff, like he had an Atari. Like his mom and dad got him, and he had 2 brothers and a sister, got them an Atari. And but all of his friends would come over to play Frogger with his mom. Like they didn't want to play with him. They came over because he had an Atari, and they wanted to play with Mimi Joe. So it's funny. That's crazy. I think I got it from him because like my mom isn't tech illiterate by any means, but like my dad loves the stuff.
Right.
And so like I was kind of the same way. Like my first true console was the N64. I had a GameCube, which I loved, but like that Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. With
the little light so you could play it on car trips, man. Yeah. Like playing Pokemon in the car.
I remember the light. Like you just...
Yeah. It was awful.
At night. it was horrible, but that was the only way that we could play it at night.
Exactly. And like, it's so funny now because looking back, because like we're 22 and I feel like I'm 100 and I mean you got a kid.
Yeah. And
so like it's one of those things you look back and you're like, wow, like where we're at now versus where we are. And so anyway, that's kind of, it's funny that our stories kind of lined up that way. And I wonder how, how many people our age, like that's the case.
Yeah.
Like they started in gaming. And, we're running on one now, like a computer that I built, and it's nothing fancy, but it gets the job done on audio editing, It doesn't have to be anything crazy. And so, yeah, I wonder how many people out there, like, that's how it is.
Like, that's their story.
Yeah, like, that's the story. Like, Pokemon did it,
Oh, yeah. I feel like most people are like that. Because, I mean, we grew up in the era where, like...
We're the hot kids,
was,
man.
Like, booming.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, talking to my grandparents and even my mom, like, when they were growing up, they remember, the... DOS and everything, you had to input the commands and everything to do just about anything.
Yeah, or like feed the computer cards and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, floppy disk.
Yeah, floppies.
I think I saw my first floppy disk in, like, years the other day. Like, just moving stuff, And, like...
Yeah, my dad, like, he took a coding class when he was in high school.
Uh-huh.
And remember, my dad's 52 years old.
Yeah.
And, like, it was on... Like, the whole class was... For the whole semester, was like you have to code a game, and it was on floppies, and they coded a game in Cobalt on floppy disks, and it was like a set of them because they hold nothing, they hold no storage, and so he did that. Came in the class, like blew off the whole year, and then toward the end they made a game where you like it was like a platform shooter game, like you ran across and like hopped over the box and like shot thing. It's crazy. I would love nothing more than to find a box of floppy disks with that game on it.
Oh yeah.
Because like I'd sell it for $1 million.
Oh, people would because it's nostalgia.
Yeah, dude. It's awesome.
Like, everybody wants to go back to that. Yeah. And with the new Call of Duty coming out.
Yeah, dude. Modern Warfare, man.
Me especially, like, MW2 is the best.
Yeah, well, it's the best game of all time, and anyone who disagrees can go away.
Yeah,
like
they're wrong. I feel like the true Call of Duty fan at heart says MW2 is the best.
Yeah, and before that, I have my old band director was a big World at War fan, and at the time, World at War was revolutionary and everything that it did. But Modern Warfare 2, I think, epitomizes a first-person shooter game.
Oh yeah,
like the multiplayer was revolutionary. The campaign, All Gillied Up, is one of the most memorable campaign missions of all time.
Absolutely,
and it's phenomenal.
And then, like, I don't know if we truly had the same childhood, but RuneScape.
Yeah, right? Dude, RuneScape is it. Dude, the Falador Massacre is buried in my head because I was there and, like, I lost everything.
See,
I quit RuneScape for a while after that.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, like, I was distraught.
I joined RuneScape, let's see, I was in the 6th grade, and I think that was in, like, 08.
Yeah.
So, like, I still got, like, the true RuneScape vibe, but that's when they were kind of transitioning into the newer stuff.
Into some of the newer stuff. And, they I've got it on my phone now, actually. Like, old school RuneScape mobile.
Yeah.
And, man, I listen to a lot of the developer conversations and stuff like that on a lot of the games that I play, and I know that you do the same thing. And but just the process that they went through, like, really bringing it back to what it used to be.
Yes.
And,
but a lot of people back.
Yeah, RuneScape was was awesome. I have a cousin of mine. His name's Codey. And he and I would spend, like, just stay up for hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't tell you how many times I watched him, like, attempt the Jad battle.
Yeah.
And
my funny story, one of my cousins, like, he was pretty much addicted to the game.
yeah,
right?
I can understand.
I mean, truly addicted.
Yeah.
And, like, we would all play together, and then our family just pretty much straight up said, y'all gotta chill playing.
Yeah, y'all gotta relax.
You know,
yeah.
like, you can't be playing it all the time, this,
Yeah.
that, and the other. But, like, honestly, I feel like because we played it so much
Yeah.
is why I'm so invested in technology.
Yeah.
now,
And, RuneScape is one of those games, again, like, it's an MMO. And it was, it's not World of Warcraft by any stretch as far as the complexity or whatever, but it was very straightforward. It was easy to get into.
Mm-hmm.
I could pick up, like I said, I have it on my phone. I can't tell you the last time I played, but I could pick it up now and go right back into it. The old school stuff. Now, a lot of, like, the combat evolution and stuff like that they did,
all the new
RS3,
stuff is,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like, I have, and we'll kind of transition to this a little bit, but like how, because of our age and what we grew up in, like, I don't think we'll ever lose the value of new tech, right? Like, advancements in tech.
Yeah.
Now, RS3, while we're kind of there, like, I hate it. Like, I hated it, and I do not like it.
Yeah.
But I don't think... It's funny because anytime I have that conversation, like, that always comes to my mind. Like, I hate the new stuff that they did, but I don't know if it's, like, just because I think it's so untrue to the original game, or if it's like I don't like the new stuff. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Again, alluding to our age, I feel like we're almost like old people that don't like new stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, if an old person picks up a new smartphone and they know nothing about it,
They freak out.
They freak out because they're so used to their flip phone or home phone, something simple.
Yeah. Well, and we both
like
work with, like, clients like that.
And I feel like it's the same sense in, like, our games and things like that.
And I hate that, too, because, like, we talked about my dad earlier, how he's all about it, like, all about new tech. And I feel like we will, too. It's just, I think the big thing is, like, the new tech that we experienced when we were young was true, like, new.
Yeah.
Brand new. Like, I had my first cell phone was a Razr, like a Motorola Razr.
Oh, yeah.
And, but changes to the tech that we have, I think will be a little bit more difficult for us to swallow.
I think so, too, but I think I've come to just terms to just be like, look, it's going to happen. We're going to have to build on it.
Right.
So might as well just get used to it.
For sure. And, it kind of moving into a big part of what we wanted to talk about was, like, where do we think tech is going? We talked quite a bit about, like, VA not too long ago, and like, I love VA stuff. Yeah. I love voice stuff.
It's revolutionary.
Yeah, like, I've got
truly is.
Absolutely. And so, like, the Google, a couple years ago when they did that voice stuff, it blew my mind, and, like, I'm so stoked for where it's going to go, what Alexa can do, and what any VA can do. Google. Siri has her moments, Cortana even, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And before, I don't think we were recording when we were talking about it, but, like, the like VR AR stuff.
Yeah.
Like, tell me a little bit about what you think about it and kind of where you see that going.
So, like, one of the big people that we listen to, Gary Vee.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You gotta love him.
Yeah.
Right.
If you don't know who Gary Vee is, and for some reason you're listening to this and not to, like, Ask Gary Vee, like, you're in the wrong spot. Yeah. Like, he's amazing.
Like, we appreciate it, but, like
go
find him.
Yeah.
But the big thing with him is, he says he doesn't really want to invest in VR, and he prefers voice and everything, which I do truly understand that, because voice is growing at almost an exponential rate.
Oh,
Whereas VR is kind of not growing quite as fast. However, my biggest thing with that is the technology that pushed VA, I truly feel like is about to push what VR is.
Sure.
Because we found the technology for voice assistants and everything, and we're getting AI integrated into voice assistants.
Yeah, like Jarvis stuff.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's coming to.
Yeah.
And I feel like once we discover the technology that we need to make VR good, it's going to shoot through the moon. Like, one of my one of my favorite VR systems is Oculus, right?
Sure, yeah.
Most people know about Oculus.
Yeah. Well, and Facebook bought them, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. But the thing with Oculus is within this past, I want to say year, they came out with the Oculus Go, right?
Yeah.
And
Oculus, talk a little bit about the Oculus Go, because it's a cool thing, and not a lot of people may know what that is.
The Oculus Go is absolutely fantastic because with the actual Oculus Rift, you have to have a computer, you have to have
the full nine,
everything set up, right? You have to have sensors, everything.
Sure.
But with the Oculus Go, it literally senses all of your movement, and you're able to play pretty much the same VR games.
Yeah.
On a headset that you just download everything to.
Right. So have you seen any like Linus Tech Tips stuff? LTT?
I've seen a few things.
Yeah. So they're a phenomenal YouTube channel. I don't think they have a podcast. If not, they should. Linus is one of those guys that like he's in his 40s and he knows everything there is to know about tech. And years and years ago, he and his dude, because they only had 2 or 3 of them at the time, basically the challenge was to make a mobile Oculus, and they took an Oculus system and like built a backpack around a computer and did a wireless, and I thought that was so funny when I heard that the Oculus Go was coming out, that like Linus did. Now it was bulky, it was clunky, it was terrible, it was like a vest and it's a whole thing, but like that's where we're headed, and like it happened, and it's such a cool thing, you know.
And again, like I think once the right investments and the right push for VR happens, it's going to grow exponentially like VA. Yeah. I feel like we're just kind of leaving it on the back burner because we are focused on voice assistant and everything right now.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because VR has been trying to happen for a long time.
Very long.
And a lot of people don't, I don't think, realize that. You know, VR, virtual reality, like, I can't even describe. It's been years, long time. PlayStation tried it for a long time. They gave up, and then or Sony did, I guess, and came back to it now with the Sony like Play VR or whatever. I don't even know what they call it. I don't even remember. But
no,
I don't know. But it was it was
PlayStation
cool.
VR.
Yeah,
like,
basically, that's what it was. That's what it was. I don't know if that's what they called it. A buddy of mine, a buddy of ours, Weston, had one, and Weston buys everything there is to buy when it comes to that stuff, and ended up loving it, and then didn't anymore. You know, like just didn't use it anymore. And you know, the what's it called? Beat Saber was a thing for a while. It's still out there, and I think that part of the problem that they're experiencing is like figuring out the motion sickness and the latency problems of it. Without putting it into a high-powered system. Yeah. Like, if we plugged an Oculus into my computer, it'd be fine. But if we plugged it into, like, what most people have, like, you can't... like, you can't. Like, you're not going to do it. It's not going to do it right anyway. Like, my computer, again, will be fine, but, you know, Joe Blow's next door, they may have bought a computer because they do office work, and, like, that's just not going to fly. And I think VR, I'm with you, I think VR is going to be, like, come to a point where that is what we game. Like, that is how we do things. And
it's almost coming to that because I keep up with a lot of esports. Like
for sure.
Like, everybody keeps up with basketball, football. Yeah. I'm the esports guy.
Yeah, right? Which is so funny, by the way, because I know you can't see him, and if you don't know him, like, Codey looks like an athlete, like, top down. He even has, like, the hair for it. Like, it's anyway, but yeah, like... I keep up with a lot of esports stuff, and they have VR esports. I didn't even know that. I'm all about some esports. Like, I love watching. Overwatch was okay to watch competitive. Call of Duty, I think, is always super fun to watch competitively. Even on garbage games like Advanced Warfare and stuff like that, like and Infinite Warfare, both garbage games. But.
I mean, I watch a lot of that. I keep up with League of Legends. Like that's the big
oh yeah,
game
absolutely.
Too. But
I mean, anybody that's ever logged onto Twitch knows that.
Oh yeah, Dota, Call of Duty, Fortnite, everything. You know, like
which Fortnite, by the way, had no idea was going to be this big. Yeah. I had no idea, and the complexity of the game, it's phenomenal.
I don't think anybody was prepared for Fortnite's success. Yeah. Like not even the developers.
No,
to be
because they didn't put any money into it at first. None.
And like,
and then it was free.
Here's this free release game.
That was phenomenal.
And actually, they were originally only going to do the storyline of it.
Really? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. No, I take my surprise back. The zombie thing and the save the world thing.
Because I remember on PlayStation, whenever it was first released, like Fortnite, you know, this is
zombie survival game.
Yeah, this and people were, I guess, kind of beside it because it was just like this survival game that you just built stuff.
Yeah. And
then PUBG was big, H1Z1 was big.
Yeah.
And then they just were like, oh, hey, we're going to do Battle Royale.
So, it's so funny, 'cause I know we're talking about, like, VR and the future of gaming and all that stuff. Man, if I can find this thing. Fortnite kind of reminded me of it, but, like, immersive gameplay, right? Like, people have been talking about immersive gameplay since gameplay started, because, like, be in the story and be in the thing. And you may know what I'm talking about as I'm trying to find this thing online. But there was... And I'm going to stand up, so that's what all this noise is. There is a system, right, where, like, you get in it, and it's, like, a round thing, and you strap yourself into it.
Oh, I know exactly.
And, like, you have special suit, like, shoes for it, and, like, you can run, and, like, it's free motion or whatever. You've got a game. Yeah. And, like, that, I think it was on Shark Tank, like, forever ago. And, like, I'm here for that now. Yeah. Like, at the time, I was like, oh, that's cool, because... I don't even know how old I was at the time, but it was awesome. Like, I feel like, and as we're talking about it, that's the VR gameplay that we're talking about, and that's what it's going to be.
And that's exactly like what I'm trying to get at is like everybody wants to be immersed in a game,
right?
Like,
for sure.
Most people, when they sit down to play a video game, it's not just to play it,
right? It's to
because they
escape,
love it,
right?
Like nobody wants to invest $60 in, 80 whatever cups of coffee, right?
Sure, yeah.
Like you're not going to put $60 down on something because you just want it to,
right?
You know? So when you sit down and play a video game, like you want to be immersed, like that is your getaway from your day-to-day, everything like that, And I feel like once we take that step to get to where VR needs to be and add that immersion with it, like it's going to be game over.
Yeah. And it's funny because like we have, you go back 20 years and look at like sci-fi movies and like that's what it was. Yep. And it's crazy that like people have these thoughts before it's possible, and the thing we're already looking after VR and into like holographic and things like that, and people joke about it now and it's in sci-fi movies now, but like that, like that's what's next,
True. I wouldn't say that I'm a true futurist just yet.
Yeah.
I am
You'll
definitely
get there.
I am definitely on the way of becoming one.
Right.
And I've watched a few videos on it, and like the way that we're going, like we will be able to travel to Mars. We'll be able to travel beyond.
But when you have, absolute units like Elon Musk out there in the world, like, and it's just the future is full of limitless possibilities,
Especially with technology.
Absolutely.
Literally the advancements.
I think that's why, and you may be of a different mindset than this, but like that may be one of the reasons why I love it so much, because there is no limit to what it can do. Ultimately,
that's truly one of the reasons why I'm so invested in it, is because, and there's, it's not only endless, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's basically endless possibilities, right?
Right, absolutely.
Like, it is truly endless what you can do with technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no stopping it.
Yeah, and going back to you being the founder of Techin Tech, I think that as you and I talked about kind of your mentality of it and going into that piece of that business is why you have such a passion for what that is. So talk a little bit about Techin Tech and what you hope to do with it and that kind of thing, because I'm super stoked about it and I don't really have anything to do with it. I picked a font. Yeah.
So so Techin Tech. Honestly, so the story of it is kind of funny. I was working at Best Buy at the time, and
so it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been about maybe 6-7 months, something like that.
Right.
So, but I actually had like a group of 3 old guys come in.
Sure.
Right? And they surprise me because normally if you work at Best Buy,
right,
you always have that customer that's
absolutely.
like, what's this Roku? What's this, that, and the other? You know,
one of them Wi-Fi boxes was my favorite. And the thing is, like, it's not exaggerated. Like, I had a customer come in and ask Weston, by the way, he was there. You got one of them Wi-Fi boxes?
Oh my goodness.
And then it turns out, by the way, that they were actually looking for Wi-Fi, but they didn't think they needed like to like buy the service. Like they needed this box and it would magically do it's anyway. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've had a few stories like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But these three guys come in and I just got to talking to them because again I love talking to people.
Yeah.
So I started talking to them and they're like, yeah, we've got this friend that, you know, we know all this stuff about technology. You know what Rokus actually are. We're not your like stereotypical old person that
That's
like
so funny, dude.
they literally said that.
That's
to me
hilarious.
They know.
Yeah.
They know because they have this friend that just doesn't know anything about it, and like he kind of doesn't even really want to know anything about it.
Sure.
So
he's just kind of content.
Yeah. And what's crazy is in that moment, like these three older gentlemen that knew about this technology and this one guy that didn't, like, got me thinking, like, why aren't we teaching people about technology?
Sure.
You know? Because, like, and it doesn't even go for old people. It goes for our generation, too. Because there's people in our generation that don't know about technology.
You know, and it's funny because, like, you and I are on that line of, like, millennial, centennial generation lines. And they're somehow, my little sister's 15 and she's a centennial and 7 years younger than I am. And, like, there are people in her generation that don't know anything about, like, tech. And that blows my mind, by the way.
I promise you it blows mine, too. Because, like, in that, like, I was like, nobody's around here doing it. Yeah. Like, you have to go on the internet. Yeah. And most people don't even know how to do that or access it or whatever. So, like, ultimately, even if
most people, I hope at this point, know how to use like a browser, but you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. You know?
Like, in a lot of it is wordplay. A lot of people don't get, you know. Like,
like the jargon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, we're in the South. You know, everybody says in on the instead of ing. So,
stuff.
You know what? Why not?
Thinking, doing.
Teaching.
What you fixing to do.
It markets to everybody around here, and you know, it's just instead of being your proper whatever, it's
teaching technology. Yeah.
You know?
And it's funny because like stuff like that, you know, and you even mentioned it, like you can go online and get that stuff, but
absolutely.
You have to know how to go online and know how to get to what you're looking for. Like, and people who are looking for how to use YouTube, guess what they're not going to know how to do?
Use YouTube.
Go on YouTube and Google that saying, you know, it's crazy. So, no, I think it's a great idea. You know, Codey and I talked about it, this aspect of it 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a little while ago.
A little while ago, not like a forever ago, but, and like I loved it. Because you can do these things like Apple does every day. They've got certain lessons or stuff. We live in Northeast Arkansas, and the closest Apple store is Memphis, and they again only do product demos on their stuff, which I don't blame them for. That's what they should do. That's their product, and they know that product better than anything in the world, and so they're good at it. But having something just like a generalized, hey, here's how to use your cell phone. Here's how to send a voice memo to your grandkid or
text message.
Yeah, like, and here, look at all this other cool stuff that you can do with your text messages that you probably didn't know anything about. And I think the thing for me that really got me on when we were talking about it was the fact that like it's while you're doing it in like a class setting, like the individual themselves though will have a different experience in it. So
absolutely.
Like if you don't like I've got aunts and uncles, right, that my dad's 52 and he's the baby of the group.
Right. And
they may not want to know about like the slam effects that you can do on text messages, but they may want to know about, you know, emojis. Like and it's one of those things we think about it and it's kind of funny, but people that age really didn't, like, they knew a time before cell phones, much less a time before emojis. And so like if one person wants to know nothing about anything but how do I get emojis on my phone, or how do I use emojis, and the next person sitting next to them wants to know about, the confetti effects and all that stuff, they'll be able to go to one spot to get all of that at one time.
And like with this opportunity that
Right.
I'm not only giving myself but giving everybody, I don't want it to be like your traditional classroom.
Sure.
Like I don't want you to come out and not
sit in a row and
or raise your hand. I don't want you to come out and have a bad experience.
Sure.
I want you to come out, enjoy learning this stuff, because like where else would you learn it?
Absolutely. And so, I'm excited too because, and we won't talk a lot about it because it's a long way down the road, but like the evolution of where that's going to go for you, I'm really excited about it. That we've actually, oddly enough, been talking about a lot longer than this aspect of it. And it's cool, like this is going to be the launch like platform for it. So that's awesome. And and as we grow and going into like the VR and the AR stuff, like there will never be, that market will never be saturated.
Oh no.
Because it's always growing and always advancing. And when we get into VR and into AR stuff, which is, anybody who's played Pokemon Go, or, you know what AR is. And we use AR now in our sales environment, in our jobs. And so we'll talk a little bit about VR versus AR and that kind of thing. But like augmented reality, we sell furniture. That's what we do.
That's the base level.
Like, that's what we do. That's our day job. And we're using AR in our day job, selling furniture for a local furniture company every day. And like Stressless, for example, is a brand of chairs, that we sell, and they have an app dedicated to AR. Yep. Like look at this chair in your home, and like it's proportioned and all that stuff, and like that to me, AR to me is much more interesting than VR personally.
And another big thing, I don't know if you know about this, but Google in the most recent keynote did a whole AR thing, right? So if you actually Google certain things, like a shark was their big one, right? If you Google a shark, you can pull up and place a shark where you're at, and you get to see what it actually looks like, actual size.
I did not know this, by the way. That's fantastic.
So Google is actually really trying to get AR, because we've got it in Snapchat, we've got it in everyday life, Pokemon, everything, you know?
Well, in Apple, and I told you I'm an Apple fanboy, and I'm not going to give them credit like for this, because they didn't. Google had it first. But in the hardware keynote, not dub, but the hardware keynote that they had last year was all about AR. And like and I hate to do this because I'm one of them, but anytime Apple comes out with something, everyone just assumes that Apple like made it up. And that has not been that way since Steve. And so like they just perfect things normally. Like when they put wireless chargers in their phones, they don't blow up like when Samsung does theirs. But Google years ago, and I tried to get in on the beta for it, did their Google Glass. And so, did you ever watch Ned's the Classified School Survival Guide?
I did.
Okay, so Cookie, in that show, had a little flip down thing on his glasses and had a deal on it. Well, Google, at the time, like that was early AR. And now they've gotten into this, which I did not know about. Their I/O keynote, I did not watch this last one. Shame on me. That's awesome though, man. Yeah, like I'm super stoked about AR. I was ready to shell out the money for early access on the Google Glass, and they canceled it. But
because it's gonna, AR is not only going to change, what we know. It's going to change the true learning.
Right.
Like, learning in general is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
Because you've got classes that you can teach. Literally biology. Sharks are part of biology, obviously.
They have biology, that's for sure.
Like you can pull that shark up and be like, "Hey, this is what's going on here." That
Like, and it's funny because when you think of like that aspect of it, it's one thing, but like think of the economical impact, like long term, right? So we'll take that example. When I was in AP biology in high school, we dissected a shark. Like there were baby sharks, but we dissected sharks. And so instead of physically like purchasing sharks as a school district every year, and that goes into frogs, like we did sheep eyes, like owl pellets, all kinds of stuff. You could give everybody a pair of goggles or glasses that have the tech built, and then the room is built to AR, and you can dissect a quote unquote live bull shark, for example, as a class, and it has the same effect.
Yeah.
And long term, you bought that system one time as opposed to buying a bunch of sharks a bunch of times, you know. So that's always something that I thought was really, really interesting. But that's a great example of that. That's awesome.
Economic value.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's all tech's about. You know, I mean, all the way down to, we talked about Elon Musk earlier, who's one of my personal heroes. And it's those guys, right? Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, those pioneers of tech.
Okay.
And, like, Elon doing Tesla when he did.
Oh, my gosh.
Like tech goes so far beyond gaming, right?
Oh,
like, so far beyond, like, what we're doing now. Like, we have a computer monitor. I'm looking at sound waves. We have a Yeti microphone in front of us. I've got a custom built computer. Like, and that is nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing
compared to what there actually is. It is
right.
It is like an ant on this world.
Exactly. You know? And so, like, what Elon has been able to do and what he's planning on doing is it's phenomenal.
One of the biggest things is the semi trucks.
Yeah, dude.
He's wanting to enter.
Yeah.
You know, like. And they get, 300 miles?
Something ridiculous on one full charge.
That's insane.
Yeah. Now, it takes them forever to charge. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. But that's wild. Yeah. It's crazy. And, like, they just kind of teased a little while back, I don't know if you saw or not, like a pickup truck.
Really?
And the concept, of course, all concept cars look dope. Yeah. But, like, this one looks ridiculous. And under $50,000 for a fully electric pickup truck. And Elon has made some claims in the past, obviously, but and about like production times and things like that have been wrong. But never has he announced like it's going to be the most powerful this in the world and been wrong. Yeah. And he's like, this is by far the most powerful pickup truck that will be on production ever. Yeah. Like, that's crazy. And it's all electric and it's all software.
Electric is where it's at.
It's crazy.
It really is. And it's a tapped in resource that nobody's either wanted to do or really, I guess, thought of until Elon came along. Yeah, and the business plan that this guy, because you know he's the PayPal guy originally, and sold whatever. We're not going to get into that, but got a bunch of money out of it, and then he started Tesla with the Tesla Roadster years ago now, and like the plan was this really high dollar car, and he sell a few of them, and then he moved into the Model S and whatever, and now he's got his sexy lineup. Yeah. And, you know, I think, I don't know if you and I have actually talked about this particular piece of Tesla, because I love Tesla, and, like, that's my next car, right? Yeah, mine too. Yeah, and True. It's like, Tesla is not a car company. Mm-hmm. Like, they're a software company that happens to put their software in cars. Yeah. And that, to me, when you start to think of companies like that, like, that's the future of business. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, and, like, and I've said it over and over again, but it blows my mind just the future look that Elon had for something like that. Absolutely. And I'm excited about it. Yeah. So what do you think as far as, you know, for you, and you and I have talked quite a bit about like impact and things like that, legacy. What do you hope to leave, you know, in the tech world and tech industry through Techin Tech and some of the other stuff? Even if it's a small bit, you know, people sometimes think of legacy as like changing the world, and that's not a necessity. But what do you think what do you want your legacy to be in tech? Man,
or is it one of those things we're just gonna wait and find out? We're just gonna see your name in lights somewhere.
Like I've got plans, but I've never thought to dream small. Right. Know, always dream big.
Yeah. If you're gonna dream small, what's the point? That's a nap.
Exactly. You know that it's nothing. And I think what I really want to do with Techin Tech and just building my other businesses, right. My true actual dream is to actually help like more impoverished communities and help just give that one kid or that group of kids that place to go that want to know about technology. Sure. Like me personally, I've never been good at science, but I've been superb at math, right? But
I was that way for the record. Like I'm great. Like numbers are everything. Like everything. But as soon as you like start throwing like words like geology and like earth, like you can keep that, bro. Absolutely. Like I'm good without.
I'm the same way. But the thing is you can't have technology without science.
Absolutely.
You know. So I think
I'll just let someone else figure it out.
Yeah exactly. I'll get the math part and you do everything else.
Exactly. Yeah.
But for me, truly, my legacy that I want to leave is just a true safe haven that I can put across not only the United States but the world, truly, and just give those kids or even people, that place that they can go to learn about technology and be around technology every day.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Because, not everybody has that opportunity.
Yeah, and it's so funny when you think about, like, the life that we had, and we talked about it at the beginning, like, neither one of us lived, like, rough lives.
No.
Like coming up, like
middle class.
Right, middle class. Yeah. My mom and dad loved me.
Yeah.
Like, I was never into drugs. Like, I lived a clean life and all that stuff, and it's awesome. And a lot of times you see people, and we talked about that again off mic, people can take that sometimes and, like, throw it away. Yeah. And, you and I both are of the same mindset of, like, using our position to, like, help everybody to do better. And I love that plan for you because, like, and because I know you're going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And I'm lucky enough to be on the front end of it and watch the ride happen, so.
I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and it reminds me a lot, and we'll kind of end on this. I saw a Tumblr post, I'm sure, because everything interesting is on Tumblr, I guess, or Reddit, about how it's like a spoiler alert for, like, the last two Avengers movies. How after Spider-Man ashed out, right, and, like, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Stark? I don't feel so good.
After that, Tony went back to New York, and instead of, like, Endgame happening, right, he, like, built a similar thing, like a safe haven or whatever. And it started with, like, he was walking down the street and this one kid was, like, sitting close to the Avengers Tower trying to cop the Wi-Fi, right? And Tony walked up to him, and the kid thought he was in trouble, but he was like, "Nah, man, just come in," or whatever. And he started building out this stuff, and ultimately it became, like, a place where impoverished kids could come, and they loved him, and it ended up, because the Spider-Man Tony Stark thing is important, because at the end, like, they all reminded him of Peter, and how, like, you can have an impact on people, and you should have an impact on people, especially because you're in the position to be able to do it.
Absolutely.
And so that's something that I've always appreciated about you ever since we've known each other, because it's been on the forefront of your head, like, forever.
Literally everything I do. And, like, I will honestly say that sometimes I do come off selfish.
Sure.
But the reason I come off selfish is because I want to help other people eventually,
Yeah, and, and a guy that you and I have talked about, Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that I still have to get you his book. I think my mom still has it. But you're reading Robert Kiyosaki's book right now and loving it, I know, because it's awesome.
It's fantastic.
And, Dave is one of those guys. I just haven't heard Robert talk about it. But Dave is one of those guys who is like, you have to be, at some point, selfish first, because you can't help others unless you're in a position to do that.
Exactly.
And so you have to, through life, put yourself there. That way you can help others later. So, like, live and give like no one else now. Like, live under your means and save and be out of debt and yada yada. And then later you can live and give like no one else can possibly do.
Exactly.
And there's a reason why the Waltons give so much money. There's a reason why Bill Gates donates millions of dollars every year. Like, more money than the average human can actually fathom of Bill Gates' wealth goes away. Like gone.
It's nothing. And they're completely okay with it.
Yeah, because they don't need it.
Exactly.
Like, they don't. Warren Buffett doesn't need. That's why he lives in the same house that he lived in when he,
and
like,
drives
40,
the same
50
car,
years ago.
Goes to McDonald's every day. Like,
and that's his prerogative, man. Like, he doesn't want anything else.
And, like, that's truly what I want to live by. Now, don't get me wrong.
You and I both are going to have nice cars, right?
We're
and, like, I know Mallory and Hannah are going to have nice vehicles and nice cars,
Yeah.
and our kids are going to be taken care of and stuff.
Everything's going to be taken care of. But, like, I don't want to live outside of my means.
Sure.
If I don't have to.
Absolutely.
And
it's one of those things people sometimes, like, think they have to always live in, like, I hate to use the term squalor because like we live in a first world country and so
Yeah.
none of us do, but like the fact that you're in America means you're in the top, 1% of the world or whatever. And so, but like living in a less than ideal condition for the rest of your life, and that's not what it's about. It's about, saving and doing your part for yourself so that you can take care of yourself and your family and enjoy life, but also allow others to do the same, right? Like,
and truly,
that's it.
That's the American dream.
That should be the American dream,
Yeah.
man. Work hard, and the American dream, and you and I both know this, does not always involve college.
No.
Okay?
It does not.
It doesn't always involve education and schooling or whatever. Like, education's great, but hey, go to tech school,
I tried college 2 times.
Yeah,
and it is not for me.
Yeah, and I'm in it now, and I hate college.
Yeah.
I just do.
And my biggest thing, and I live life by this every single day,
Yeah.
is you live by your happiness.
Absolutely, man.
Like
100%.
That is my life.
Absolutely.
That is my motto. That's everything. And that's what you should do every day.
Yeah.
If you're not happy, fix it.
Absolutely. Do something. Don't just complain about it.
Don't complain. Like, complaining is wasted energy.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, man, that's awesome. But we're approaching on our hour here, and so I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the world around you because of what your impact is going to be long term. And
I appreciate it.
man, I'm just stoked, and hopefully we'll have you back.
Most definitely.
More than just the one time, and hopefully people like to listen to it. We'll see what happens. But guys, that has been the Vaughn Show, the first installment with Codey Pate Codey Pate, founder of Techin Tech, and talking about tech and gaming and where we see the industry going, and we kind of ended on a really great note there, man. Serve those around you, but take care of yourself to make sure that you can do that. So remember, guys, stay happy, serve others. Later. And guys, if you did enjoy this episode of The Vaughn Show, the very first one, please leave a like and comment below what you guys want to hear us talk about in the future. And subscribe to the channel and download podcasts wherever you're hearing it. Hopefully iTunes, Stitcher, etc. So thank you guys very much. Bye.